Well, hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today, taking time out of your busy schedules to hear what we have to tell you. Hopefully, it's some information that's going to be able to help you. I'm going to stall here for like a minute just to let some of the stragglers come in. I don't want to punish you guys for being on time and or early. We do appreciate your time. We got a couple great leaders in the industry here. We're going to be talking about their experience in these trying times during this situation, how they've been able to market and actually increase sales, or kind of keep their head above water, but actually I think kind of gain some ground. Would you guys agree? Is that kind of the situation you're in right now?
Absolutely.
All right, cool. Well, here in just about 20 seconds, I'm going to start my introduction. I'm going to comb my hair first real quick, get it all ready to go. We're good. So yeah, you too. I saw it, Sean. Number 47's out of place. Go ahead and fix that. There you go. Perfect. All right, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. We're just going to go ahead and jump right into it. So hello and welcome to the PMQ webinar series. I'm your host, Brian Hernandez, and today I'm joined by two leaders in our industry, Sean Brauser of Cutting Edge Marketing Group and Sean Rowe of St. Angelos Pizza in Atlanta, Georgia. It's the day of the Seans. So today, Sean and Sean, they're going to share their key insights into how they've collaborated to drive more online growth while staying relevant to St. Angelos guests online, and ultimately how Revention has been able to help in that respect. So I want to direct you, please feel free to ask questions anytime during this presentation. I'm going to curate and moderate them, and we'll have a Q&A after the Seans have shared their insights. Now there's a questions tab on your GoToWebinar dashboard. I do want to ask all of you as well to take 1 minute to fill out the poll questions that we've come up with at any time during this conversation. You can find that URL in the chat box. If you go over to the dashboard, there will be a section for chat, and Emily from Revention is going to put that up there. We ask you to fill out those questions. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce our guests. First up, Sean Brauser, the owner of Cutting Edge Marketing Group. Sean is the authority when it comes to pizzeria marketing. He founded and operated two multi-million-dollar pizza concepts, which ranked in Pizza Today's top 100 pizzerias. And Sean has taught real-world marketing techniques to thousands of pizzeria operators from all over the world. He was the keynote speaker at the International Pizza Expo and a finalist for the Ernst & Young's Entrepreneur of the Year Award. He has spoken at International Pizza Expo, the NRA convention, and numerous other food shows in small groups. Next up, we have Mr. Sean Rowe, owner and operator of the award-winning St. Angelos Pizza in Atlanta, Georgia since 2004, serving pizza, wings, and much more. There are 35 years of family history in this local pizzeria. Now, the Vinings location started as a carry-out and delivery service and quickly outgrew the original space. Sean then relocated to the current location in September of 2008 to expand to a full service, and he's continued that growth since. So, without further ado, I just want to say, gentlemen, welcome. I'm going to hand over the cards to you first, Mr. Brauser. You have the speaking stick.
Hey, thanks, Brian. How you doing today? Yeah, good. I wanted to talk through just a little bit of history and figure out, talk about Revention and cutting edge marketing and kind of the relationship I've had with Revention through the years. I was one of Revention's very first customers. Probably, I argue with Laura and Chuck, but I'm going to say I was the second customer. And we built our business really pretty heavily on Revention. It was able to take us from 1 unit to 40 units, and really, leaned on them to provide a great platform for us to not only do marketing, but manage the business and manage deliveries especially. I mean, I've seen a lot of delivery modules out there, and I think Revention is the #1 answer for that. So after that, I sold that company. I started another one, grew it to 25 units and sold that one off as well, and started a marketing agency called Cutting Edge Marketing, and really committed to the pizzeria industry and specifically the independent pizzeria owner, because I know that being a pizzeria owner is very, very difficult. It's very easy to get into the pizza business, and it's very hard to make money. And usually the thing that gets lost in the wash is marketing. So I really wanted to create an agency where I could bring, I had franchisees, and we managed franchisee marketing, and I wanted to bring franchisee level marketing to the independent pizzeria and really bring them up to speed, because I saw them getting beat up by the big chains. I saw them losing share to all of the big companies. I saw them losing share to third-party delivery. And, the risk is there. And then, with COVID now hitting, I mean, the risk is really still there. I mean, the old normal, new normal conversation is there. But for a lot of these guys, the old normal wasn't that great anyways. So I really want to help them get to the new normal and use our platform as a champion of that. And in fact, my marketing agency has partnered with MPP Marketing out of Toronto, and they're a larger marketing firm that can handle. We do print, we can do social, we can do websites. In fact, I've got a special offer for anybody on this later from MPP to revamp their website completely for free. So we're able to do a lot for the small guy, and that's really what we're focused on. And you can go to pizzeriaprofit.com. That's our website, and check out kind of the stuff we're going to talk about today and what we're doing for the future.
All right, great. Well, let's jump over to Sean Rowe. I had to mute you there, getting a little echo, and I just found my mic. As a professional, you'd think that would have been right in front of my face the whole time. But Sean, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself at St. Angelos?
Yes, sir. Hey, thank you, Brian. It's a privilege to be here with you guys and with Revention, and of course being able PMQ magazine, and of course Big Sean Brauser, who's one of my mentors in the business. So again, it's a privilege and an honor to be here, and hope everybody out there is safe from all of this this weirdness that's been going on. But I'm the boots on the ground. So I am a pizzeria owner. I've got a couple of St. Angelos pizzas, very proudly in the top 100 of independents in the country based on volume. And started with Revention, I think 2016, August of 2016, thereabouts. And just recently, and funny, before this all started to happen, I reached out to Sean a few months ago, just looking for somebody to kind of kick me in the right direction. I kind of felt like we were rudderless at a certain point, and I was looking for a partner again to kind of help me through things. And Revention's always been a great partner. We feel like we've grown with them. It's helped us a lot. It really helped our growth from a technical standpoint and delivery standpoint. And then Sean came into our sphere sometime at the end of 19, and it's been awesome. And again, it's led us to here, and we're excited to be here. So thanks, Brian.
Well, absolutely. We're excited to have both of you guys in here as industry leaders. So let's jump back into we've got our introductions out of the way, and everybody, you can find that poll URL in the chat box. Why don't we shift to the main topic that we're looking at here about shifting to off premises, some of the key factors that we have in that. And I guess I'm going to yield to Sean Brauser first.
Yeah, sure. Hey, so Sean and I talk a lot about how to really handle the off-premise, right? Because the dining rooms were shut down, and he did an amazing job with that. And really, the one of the main answers that we had was we were able to communicate that, and he did a great job communicating through email and text and Facebook and doing Facebook Lives. And there was just so because we had the data and the customer info, we could communicate with them instantaneously and be able to get any new message out as things were changing so quickly. But I wanted to talk a little bit about just kind of the key factors of how you should be marketing. And I posted something today that said, I've always said there is no magic bullet. And after looking at some of the results that we're seeing, I'm not sure that's accurate, because I think we found something that's extremely intuitive, and it makes total sense, but it works so deeply well. And and these are the things that we're doing with Sean. So Sean, I would encourage you to jump in wherever you want here. I don't necessarily have to read through the slide, but what we did first was we created a loyalty VIP program, and Revention has a great loyalty program. We also built a text program through Facebook Messenger, where we're able to capture email addresses, text numbers, Facebook IDs, and really be able then to retarget those customers. I did some research today on another one of my clients that has Revention, and they their top 500 customers accounted for 52% of their sales, and their top 1,000 customers accounted for 74% of their sales. So, and then, you know, your top 100 are about 22% of your sales. So 22% of your business is resting on those 100 people. And you know how many people he had their email address for? Like 48.
Oh,
So
wow.
if we lost, yeah, and that's typical, right? I mean, it's because it's when the heat of the battle is coming and you're trying to get them into a loyalty program or you're trying to get them to join a club, it's tough on that front counter person to actually get that done. But without that data, we can't retarget them. So we created a text to join program so the customer can actually text to join, a Facebook Messenger join program. So, you know, the most important thing, Sean, I think, is that you capture data from every single customer, right?
Absolutely. You have to, any chance that you can to create or cultivate data on customers. Because again, let's face it, if you're not communicating with your customers, they're communicating with somebody else. You know, I mean,
yep.
you have to stay on them, with them, and eventually that relationship becomes where they start to communicate back, which is the beauty of it. But if you don't have the bullhorn out there, believe me, they're going to try the other pizza shop down the street.
Was that something, Sean, only having the 48, was that just something that you just, I don't want to say neglected because that's a negative term, but you just weren't thinking about the importance of capturing data for people?
We just, you know, it's one of those things where you sort of take it for granted. You know, you're always going to grow, right? You're always going to, the sales just keep growing and growing, and you're just doing, we've got a great menu, great food. So it's going to last forever. And then you realize you're not really spending a lot of time with the customer. They're in the restaurant, you're delivering to them, they're carrying out, but you're not engaging them and saying, hey, we're trying this, we're trying that. Because of this, what we've done with the platform the last few months, we've been able to reach out to people instantly, which has been huge. Social media, text, email, everything. And it's revolutionized just our entire brand. And we were already a busy restaurant prior to this.
Yeah.
Okay.
You mean, you guys,
go ahead, Mr. Brauser. Yeah, I was going to say, continue with the importance of all of this.
Yeah. I mean, he was right. He was a great pizzeria. I mean, he had a busy store, and he was in a kind of malaise, right, of growth. And what we've done, and what we find is you can make a good pizzeria great. You can't make a bad pizzeria good, right? So it's all related to the owner and the culture that they create and the amount of effort that they put into everything that they do. And Sean's obviously a master of that. I mean, he's been able to grow sales incredibly fast in the last 4 months, even with this crisis that's happened, and it's exciting. So, you know, but what Sean was really about to say was creating an emotional relationship with your customers is how you create loyalty. And until you can create that emotional relationship by communication, you're just another pizzeria that they like. Okay, and we go through the data and we look at the top 1,000 customers, and you'll hear me talk about that a lot. But the average frequency of the top 1,000 customers is about 1 order a month. And most of you will probably say that's not true, that's not possible. I know Joe, and I know Tom, he gets large pepperoni every Friday. But the reality is that most of your customers don't have that relationship with you, and that frequency tells you that they're not ordering pizza once a month. So most people, I always say, all of your customers are cheating on you, right? You don't own any of them. And so what we try to do is stay top of mind. Obviously they like you, and they like your pizza. They like other pizzas. They go to Papa John's and Pizza Hut too, believe it. It's true. And they know the difference. But sometimes it's just about top of mind, and they see a commercial and a commercial and a commercial and a commercial, and they don't hear anything from you, and they don't necessarily think top of mind. They're not thinking about you as much as you're thinking about them. So we use that actual customer data to develop and send the right message to the right person at the right time through email, text, and social media. And that's the key. So, you know, wouldn't want to send a family meal deal to a single individual, or we wouldn't need to send a coupon deal to somebody who's never used a coupon. Why would you give them a discount if they don't need that? Other things we look at is what's their average ticket. If we get a group of customers that are spending $35, let's send them a package deal for $39, right? And increase that average ticket by $4 and most likely drop another $3 to the actual profit line. And that's the kind of smart marketing that we work on. And believe me, we're just scratching the surface with that right now, Sean. I mean, we had to build this database and kind of cultivate it, but the next quarter is going to be unbelievable, the stuff that we're able to kind of really push customers to do.
It's true. Rome wasn't built in a day. You know, it's one of those where who knows what the data is going to look like in 90, 120 days from now. It's going to, and what we can do with it and manipulate it and figure out who we can target, you know?
Right. Yep, exactly. And we use social media and other marketing campaigns to drive people into that program and capture data. So that's, you know, to me, when you're using Facebook, when you're using your social media, it's great to have likes and shares and all that stuff, but I've never deposited a like in my life. And you can't pay for your cheese with likes. So how you monetize your spending on social media is by capturing data. And so that's why we really want to push people. If they see us, the likes are great, the awareness is awesome, but I want their data so I can retarget them for 3 cents a text, for a penny an email, right? That's how I make money long-term in a long-term marketing program. All
right. Well, I mean, what are some of the other factors as far as like, you know, getting, you know, that message to your customers? You got to be consistent. Is there a platform which you guys are using right now?
Yeah, so what we do is we send out 8 emails a month. We send out a Tuesday email, a Friday email. We send out 4 text messages a month. And we continue to use Facebook to build that awareness and build more people into our VIP programs. And what we try to do is we push them straight to Hunger Rush. And, you know, Revention's online ordering system is very, very strong. It's very easy to navigate. So we want people to go there. So we push them all right there. We don't even go to the website, our website. We want them in our ordering platform, because online ordering accounts for a $3 to $5 difference in average check. And it's remarkable, right? Because people have time, they see what they want, they talk themselves into it. They're not, you know, people are normally trained of, you know, would you like anything else? No, I'm good. Versus I'm just going to peruse this. Did anything else look good? So, you know, your pictures have to look great on your online ordering portal. The portal has to be super simple or they're going to jump off of it. So we really want to push them into that. And then by segmenting the data, like we talked about, we can increase frequency and promote the things that your customers actually want, which means you've turned your POS system into an ATM machine. And really that's what the POS system has always been a marketing tool. And for so long, pizzeria owners just haven't used it to its fullest capability. And that's kind of where, you know, we came in and said, this is what we can do with the Revention system and turn this thing, you know, play it like a guitar. Like there's so many things we can do with it, and use the data to increase sales and profits. Sean, what kind of percentage is your online ordering, and how's that jumped since we've started?
It's obviously it's jumped a lot because a lot of, like you said, we're focusing on driving people to the online ordering. So that's put me on my toes to update the coupons online. You know, things like that. I've gotten a lot savvier at Hunger Rush in the last 60 days than I ever was before. So I usually surround myself with technical people, and it's been interesting to say the least. So, but yeah, and I've given you the numbers. We've seen, you know, the growth per week of the number of orders that we're taking in, but almost half of our business now is online ordering. In fact, so much so that we're considering down the road possibly turning the phone off with no more than a voicemail that says, let's drive you to www.santangelos.com to order online for carryout and delivery.
Right.
So that's 1 or 2 less resources on a Friday on the phones, so that we can drive them in that direction. We haven't decided on that, but the way it's going, people are very comfortable in the plug for Revention. You know, they do a little rating system on Hunger Rush, and I've received, you know, we've probably had 500 ratings over the last 4 years on Hunger Rush, and I've had 2 1 out of 5s out of the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of 5 out of 5s. So our customers like it. They like the portal. I mean, it's gone over very, very well. And usually those 1 out of 5s are something that we did. You know, we forgot some green olives or something like that.
There's a lot of
don't forget the green
for you to
olives.
respond to them and, you know, get back to the customer and say, hey, sorry, we messed up. I mean, I know people, you know, with Yelp and stuff, some people tend to get into fights with their bad reviews, but I mean, this allows you to actually make up for any mistake, like you said, that was kind of on your part.
And it's real time, and it's real time. I get them. I get the emails. It comes to me directly on my phone. So I look at it, says, hey, you just received a rating, you know, on Hunger Rush, and I always expect to open it up and see 5 out of 5, and I do. Thank you. Very easy. Appreciate you guys. Love you. Stay safe. I mean, the feedback's been, like I said, it's amazing. I mean, we've never communicated to folks as much as we are now. So it's been awesome.
Well, just real quick, I wanted to address a slide that's up on the screen. I'm sorry, Sean, Brauser. I like what you say. If you're not growing, you're dying. This is something that you have been quoted as saying, Sean Rowe. Wanted to figure out why it resonates so much with you, because I've heard various iterations of this throughout the industry. If you're not evolving, you're standing still, and standing still means you're dying. So why does this, why does this resonate with you, and how did you use this to kind of jump to where you are right now with Sean Brauser?
Exactly. I mean, that's again one of our mantras, because I probably heard this from Tony Robbins, 15 years ago or so. A big constant and never improvement kind of guy. I love reading and learning more about our industry or other industries, as a matter of fact. And one of the things that always seems to be seems to be a theme is that you can't tread water in a downhill stream. You got to swim. And it's true in any parts of our lives, whether it's our, anything, health, financially, et cetera, relationships. And if you're not growing, you're dying. And I apply that to what we're doing. And I almost every day of the year now we use a metric, which is, are we a better restaurant today than we were 365 days ago? And there did come a point where I was answering that question to the negative, like a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, where it's like, I don't feel that we're that much better than we were last year. And you know what? We stagnated. Whether it was the staff, sales, me, or whatever. So, but now today we look back and we go, you know what? We are better. So we are growing and we're seeing the results of it. It might not be overnight, but it happens. It happens gradually. So that's why it's one of the ones.
Just to chime in on that too, Sean, like if pizzeria owners tend not to think too far ahead, right? And when this COVID thing hit, I would say people became day to day again, and not really considering the moves. And what I've tried to do is kind of to project ahead, because I don't have that daily pressure of the restaurant. I'm trying to project ahead, and as things start to open up, there's there's been a ton of pizzeria guys who are knocking it out of the park. You're absolutely killing it, which is good, great. I mean, that's awesome. But that's not going to stick either, right? Because more restaurants open up, people go back out, and you're going to feel that that feeling of, well, man, I used to do 15 grand a week, and now I'm back down to 12. What am I going to do to get that back, right? And so I think that whole quote just talks to, thinking forward and thinking about working on your business rather than just day to day in your business. You've got to take care of the day-to-day. Believe me, I understand that. But thinking forward, what's the world going to look like in a month? What's the world going to look like at the end of summer? And how are you going to be prepared to adjust and keep fighting? Because who knows what's over and what's new and what's normal, right? I don't think there ever is going to be a new normal. It's just there's a constant evolution going on, and I think pizza guys just really have to be aware of that and thinking forward.
Yeah, in a way, COVID-19 is almost a little behind us to me. Like we're already, we had it, it's still there, it's still lingering, but we got to keep looking forward. We've dealt with it. Now what are we going to become out of this?
Well, and I like that, Sean. It's being proactive and not reactive. And as you said, yes, we are kind of emerging the turtle peeking his head or the groundhog just kind of looking for a shadow right now. But I mean, that kind of brings us up to, thinking ahead, like you said. I mean, we've seen what, the 1,440% growth for April of 2020 through the smart marketing. I mean, what's this about? That's an insane amount of percentages there.
Yeah, that's actually ROI, not necessarily growth. Growth would be amazing, and I wouldn't be on a webinar right now. I'd be opening restaurants every day.
Makes sense. Okay.
But yeah, so that was the return on investment in April. The number of sales that we drove in for Sean, and based on what he paid for the marketing and the ad spend for Facebook. So we're pretty proud of that number.
Okay, yeah, I mean that's definitely insane. Even just like I said, for the ROI, I can hear the silliness in the question I asked earlier. Now, yes, if I get a 1,400% growth, I would be opening them left and right too.
Guaranteed.
So as far as like shifting to off premises, what exactly does that mean? What are you guys talking about when you say shifting to off premises?
What's some of the stuff that you did? Yeah, what's kind of stuff you did, Sean?
So the biggest thing is just changing your perspective or paradigm on what we did before, which was full dine-in. I've got the three-legged stool. I've got dine-in, carry out, and delivery. So as you guys can see from the picture there, now we've moved everything into the corner and stacked the boxes, and now we have a corridor that you can walk into with no dine-in yet. So and that was the great thing about Revention, was the fact that it's very effective at all three aspects of our business. Those three stools are the three legs of the stool. So now we're looking at this from the going forward with this stuff in our behind us, or hopefully as we emerge, or the turtle, as you said before, Brian, that we're going to have to look at things a little differently as it relates to the customer, getting our sales out there via delivery, via carry outs. We're going to add curbside parking, curbside delivery permanently, which means we'll have another entry where somebody can just request on any carry out that we're going to do that. And so our counter is going to be notified, hey, these folks are pulling up and they're in the red Audi. Can you take this out to them? I mean, we're going to all those things are going to change, and we're going to see our delivery. We're going to really pursue the delivery even harder now. And the dine-in, we think, is going to move to more of a fast casual approach, where we'll walk up to a counter where you see those boxes right now, that box bunker, as we call it, that I've been doing on my Facebook videos. That's actually going to turn into probably one long counter, and we're going to take orders there, give people a little placard, they'll sit down, and we'll bring the food to them and possibly eliminate the full service. So that's something we're looking at right now.
Wow, so just even kind of shifting their paradigm, but okay, wow, that's a huge thing, and again, this has kind of all kicked us all in the butts here to make some of the changes that you were maybe thinking about doing in short term, to have to do them and pivot and do them really quickly. So,
Brian, customer expectations have changed. Customer expectations now, they expect curbside delivery, they expect touchless handoff of food, right? I mean, that stuff's never going to go away. And it's funny because I had that idea of a curbside thing 15 years ago, and I'm like, then I got to worry about running the food out there. Well, now that is the new paradigm. If you don't do that, people are going to be like, right, well, if they don't, I'd rather go somewhere that's easy and convenient, right? People will give up a little bit of taste for ease and convenience, and so you've got to make your customers as easy as possible on them too. So those are some big changes that Sean's doing, but I think they're, it's a great time to make those changes. It's a relaunch of your entire brand, right? It's almost like we're coming out, but you don't have to go back to who you were. You can go back out to who you want to be and what kind of restaurant you want to be, and not kind of feel like you're stuck to that old normal, because everything's changed. So here's your opportunity, here's your blank slate to go and drive the business that you really want, the business that you'll love, and get rid of the things you hate and do more of the things you love, because the more love you have, pizza's all about love, and it's an emotional food. It's the most emotional food in the world. If you start talking about pizza and you ask somebody, what was your favorite pizza as a kid, they start rambling on and on about this favorite pizza place. And if I asked you, Brian, what was your favorite place, you can almost start to taste it in your mouth. You You remember the smells when you walked in, and the pizza sitting on your lap, you know, when your dad's driving home and you get to steal a pepperoni, right? That is marketing in a nutshell.
Well, and that's actually, I want to come back to what you were just talking about curbside too. We did have a question that came in right when you started talking about that from Leah Arp. We will get to that here in a minute, but so we're looking at the transitioning from dine-in only. What's the next thing that we're going to have to actually be speaking about? I mean, how is your team reacting to that transition, Sean Rowe, I should say?
They've done great. The flexibility has been amazing. You know, our servers in turn started working on the counter and on the phones. Couple delivery drivers, you know, things like that. So we were able to shift a lot of that, the resource from the actual full service dine-in to the in-house. And it's actually, oddly enough, it's almost less stressful overall. There's not a lot of the normal pandemonium that St. Angelo's Pizza is known for. So if you saw us on a family night on a Thursday kids night, it would talk you out of having children. So that's so that just to give you some sense of what happens. So it's really that everybody's handled it really. I'm so proud of my staff. I mean, at both locations, they've done a phenomenal job.
Even on the customer side too, are they kind of adapting well?
They really are. And again, it's a conversation. They come in and they express themselves and tell us what they like or don't like, or you want us to try this. It's like simple things like we may stick to wearing the gloves for months. You know, yeah. I mean, months, even if it's just a nice look. You go out curbside and you're wearing gloves, the customer's going to appreciate that. You know, you might have spent a couple cents on those gloves, but you know, the return could be amazing because you're, again, you know, when they look in the kitchen, they expect to see gloves, and I've got a great kitchen. They've always worn gloves, of course, but now you've got everybody at the counter, everybody in the back, drivers, masks, gloves. So now going forward, when the customer sees that, they know that you care about their safety, health and safety, as well as that of your employees. And that, again, is part of the culture, the emotional attachment that Sean's talking about, that you guys care.
Well, and I did want to, Emily, I hope you're listening. I want to go back to a slide, I believe it's slide 11, the metrics, and I want to let Sean Brauser talk a little bit about this because it was my job to keep everybody on track, and I kind of sent us off on a tangent there. But let's talk a little bit about these metrics. I mean, these are some impressive numbers, and this is for 30 days, and they're broken down by weeks. So, Sean, Mr. Brauser, why don't you kind of walk us through that?
Yeah, so we put together a scoreboard, and I actually just beta tested it with Sean today. An app that'll go right on your phone, and you'll be able to see almost in real time how your marketing is doing, and you'll be able to see the ROI, the actual what's driving sales. It's not just about awareness. So this was a 4-week period for St. Angelo's, and you know, we were able to reach 27,000 messages through email, text, and Facebook, and drove 348 clicks to online ordering. Now, one of the things we're doing with Revention next is to actually determine what the actual spend was of each one of those 348 clicks, and that's the next level generation of data mining that we're going to be doing. But you know, if we use average ticket, we drove $12,000 in sales in that 4-week period, or at least 12,000 came through that. I'm not going to say it was all completely incremental, but I also think that there's some, you know, just nudging people along to that order process and making it easier for them to order. You know, we've seen it in the overall sales total as well.
Okay, so I guess go ahead, Sean. Go ahead.
Yeah, that doesn't include, those are clicks, and that doesn't include the folks that didn't know what to do and called the store directly, which that number goes up by a good factor, at least 20-30%.
And that's called marketing in your inbox, right? I mean, they may not even open the email, but they see you in their inbox. It's another message. It's another point of message that they saw.
Well, and that's slide 13, Emily, if you're listening. I mean, we're back on track again. I mean, this is kind of some of those creative marketing strategies for the off-premises. So now we're back on track and we're back on schedule. So, but like you said, I like how we said marketing from the inbox, and that's the, I don't want to say the least you can do, but it's the easiest thing you can do. You know what I mean? You don't have to put on pants or shoes or anything. You could just sit there at your computer and do it.
Yeah,
So why
that's
don't you
true.
talk a little bit about, I guess, Sean Rowe, maybe with some of the things that you were doing that you worked with Mr. Brauser on, as far as like creative marketing strategies for the off-premises.
Well, early on, it was, how do we communicate now? We talked prior to this, and okay, how do we build this relationship? Social media, do I do more videos? Do I post more? Things like that. And again, Sean was every step of the way was just like, just every couple of days, let's reach out. If not every day, just reach out to your customers, tell them you're here. Here's what we can do for you. And you see one of my little Facebook posts with one of my nice, sweet drivers, Stephanie, with a roll of toilet paper there. My wife's company, she has a music company, and they over ordered toilet paper at the end of last year. So she had cases of it because she is they do lessons, online lessons as well, but piano, guitar, drums. Noting your guitar collection in the background there, Brian. Obviously a musician, so she very successful, has a couple of locations, and so here we are with all this surplus toilet paper. And I said, well, and of course there was a run on toilet paper nationally, so let's give away a free roll of toilet paper with everybody that orders a delivery, and you'd be amazed how much the phone rang. You are bringing that toilet paper, are you not? And it went well. It's probably that post was the most, right in that picture. There's only like 91 likes, I guess I can read. I think it's over 2,000 or 3,000 now. I haven't even gone back to look at it, but we've never posted anything that got that much exposure. So it worked, and the delivery business just, kept creeping up. So, and things like that, just, pictures of our food, just, the videos, hope you're staying safe. We've stayed in touch.
Yeah, you've done a great job of doing live videos, and we had talked about that. That's a huge opportunity for a pizzeria owner when they're at the store to just shed a little light, insight. People are interested in that kind of stuff. Here's how we make the dough, and here's how we make our sauce, and here's Tom, and he's our delivery driver, and people are interested in that kind of a relationship with a brand. They don't want just fake and corporate. Like, if you're a mom and pop for a reason, then that use that as a strength and an advantage. And Sean's done an amazing job with his videos and just getting people to follow, and that's how Facebook works. If you post something and you end up with 4 or 5 likes and maybe a share, right? That's because nobody saw it fast enough. So the Facebook logarithm, if you put a $10 boost behind a post, it kind of pushes it out to more people. They will start to respond to it. Facebook then recognizes, oh, people like it. I'll show it to more people for free and organically. And so anytime you put a post out, even a couple times a week, just put $10 behind it to it's like pushing the boulder. It's like getting the boulder moving, and then you can really start to get. And so, like, this is, I don't even think Sean had to do this. He just got immediate reaction from it. And so Facebook's like, hey, people like it. We'll just keep sending it out to everybody. And that's how you play the Facebook game right now. And that's an important part of what you do on social media.
Well, and we're in the final days of a captive audience, honestly, because places are opening up now. So,
right,
people are going to be going back to work and things like that. But this is the time to capture that audience. So, Sean, thank you guys so much for all of this. Guys, we're getting ready to get to the fun stuff here. But, I just definitely wanted to say here real quick, thank you guys both for telling us your story and sharing about your partnership. And before we jump into the Q&A, I would like to mention a little bit about Revention restaurant management system that helps power Sean Rowe's Pizzeria. Basically, Revention was built by restaurant people for restaurant people, and they've got over 20 years of industry experience serving over 5,500 customers. So that was it. Easy, painless, right? So let's dive into the Q&A, and we can answer any and all questions for Sean from how Sean Rowe is navigating the COVID-19 restrictions to how he was using Revention and anything else related to how he's partnered with Sean Brauser to increase his sales, or even, what their favorite pizza toppings are. Be sure to put your questions in the Q&A window. We do have quite a few questions. I did want to jump into one first. This person, they actually just left, and but they are from Ireland. So here, let me actually pull it up here real quick. I I'm probably going to butcher this name, but Siren Kelly. Hi guys, do you guys supply your system to Ireland yet? Because they got one of the top-rated pizza spots over there, and they want to make it even better. I was going to do an Irish accent. I'm pretty good at it, but I figured that might have been mean. So, I mean, I guess it's mainly kind of aimed towards you, Sean and Brauser.
Yeah. So
never again.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure. You just call me Brauser. That's fine. You don't even have to worry about it. I'm not sure if Revention does internationally, and maybe that's something Emily could pop in and talk to. But I know we've talked to people internationally to help them, because data is data and customers are customers and pizza is pizza.
And Emily did mention that it is U.S. only at the moment. So, you know, Siren, hopefully we're going to see if they can reach out to, you know, across the pond. But I'm sure you'll get some follow-ups, and you'll have this video sent to you after the fact, so you can hear the answer yourself. So I wanted to get into some of the other questions. We had some people submit some questions before this. There's somebody in Virginia that asked if they should delay opening their veranda initially, followed by indoor seating, as the politicians learn how to administer their opening requirements. Do you suggest maybe slowing down on opening something outside, or until the government kind of figures itself out?
Absolutely. I think that we're right now, we're saying June 1 for our customers. That's when we will officially have some version of dine-in. Now, granted, this is fluid. That could change in a few days, and we may decide to be more aggressive or slow that down. The goal is you have to have a plan. You have to have an idea of what you want it to look like. You know, where people are going to seat, you know, how you're going to make contact with them. For right now, if for nothing else, for the safety of yourself and your employees, but also for them, a lot of people, some are ready to go. I mean, I've gotten phone calls from people that are like, why aren't you open now? All the way, you know, that's fine. But that's not what we're feeling from most of our customers. So let's just take a measured approach. Yes, we want that customer back in the house at some point to listen to the music that we're playing and the TVs are on, and hopefully watching sports again at some point, and not reruns of Bulls games from the 90s. But
those are the best years.
Yeah, well, you know what? What I do know, I'm making a lot of money betting on those games now. So
yeah, that's not the best game for a Cavs fan. The shot over Elo is like the only highlight they ever show when they show Jordan, and it's like the most devastating play when I was in high school I've ever seen. I'm on the floor literally crying, tears, and they show it over for the last 30 years.
Okay, all right. So this is where I have to step in. We're not going off on a tangent. It's a great conversation though. But no, Sean, Brauser, as far as like on a marketing side, as marketing standpoint, is that something that you just hold off? Do you agree with Sean Rowe on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it comes down to every state is different. You know, in Ohio, we're opening up indoor dining tomorrow at 50% capacity. We've done a great job of stamping the curve, or whatever they called that. I mean, I think we've a mission accomplished there. I think being safe and smart is still important, but you know, if I was opening tomorrow, I would open as soon as the politicians or the governor said, okay, this is what we're going to do. Let's go ahead and push it to that limit, and then just be very safe with it.
Okay. I mean, just straightforward advice there from a couple industry greats. Now, when you started talking about the curbside, I had actually got a question as soon as you started talking about it from Leah Arp. She wants to know how you're planning on doing the communication of curbside. And I guess we could start with Sean Rowe on this, you know, as an operator, and then, you know, get the marketing advice from Brauser.
Okay, so eventually what we'll probably do is we'll have them order and describe either their car, here's your carry out time, here's when we expect to see you, that kind of a window. But for now, we're asking that they call the restaurant and say, hey, I'm outside in the Toyota, whatever, it's blue. And then, you know, whoever that carry out person packages everything out and runs it out to them. So that's how we're handling it now. I think going forward, though, if we decide to have no inbound calls, there'll have to be a little bit more of a description on the front end when we take the order over Hunger Rush, you know, via Hunger Rush. So.
Okay. Brauser.
Yeah, I'm actually looking at some ways to incorporate texting with that. You know, text us when you get here type of thing, and I'm in spot A1, and bring that, that's in development.
Okay,
Right.
so I mean, but it is there. You're thinking about it. So.
Yep.
All right. I did another one. A gentleman who had joined us, Sam Patel. He has a couple questions. He wants to know about well, basically, he says, how about the pizzerias who are just 3 months old and opened at a bad time, unfortunately? How do they build a customer database? And he has a follow-up question about they don't have delivery or dining, but so they only use third parties. How do you drive sales from that? So how do you build your customer database, and how do you drive sales using third parties?
It's a great question. And I actually, one of my clients is in Washington State, and they opened up about 3 weeks before everything crashed. And you would think that would have been completely devastating, but we had put so much effort into building his customer lists using Facebook, drove them into the messenger, got their email and text. They have 2 locations. They're almost at 3,000 contacts in their database already. And I mean, his response rates are absolutely astronomical. And basically just, you have to get that data and create, we gave away a free pizza, free small pizza, I think, as like the grand opening offer. And in order to claim it, you got to give us your data. And, 3,000 people claimed it, 1,000 people redeemed it. It drove in about 8,000 in sales just from the redeems. And then the recurring revenue then behind messaging them is off the chart, truly off the chart.
So you think it's like a 33% return on, offer versus validation, or accepting versus redemption, I guess. But
yeah, you'd be surprised. I mean, if you get a 30% redemption rate on a free pizza, that's the max you're going to get, right? It's just a weird thing. And so when you send out print coupons and you get a 1% redemption, people are doing somersaults, and that just, to me, it just doesn't make that much sense anymore to do print only. You can pair print with some social and some texting and email and create a real campaign behind what you're doing. And I think, with third-party deliveries, we're putting together a program where we can drive people into that VIP program that ordered from Uber Eats, and get them into our ecosystem next time so that we can message them and have them order direct. There's a huge debate on third-party delivery, and
yeah,
I for one I think you should be on every one of the platforms, because if somebody goes to Uber Eats to pick dinner, they're not coming off Uber Eats to come to your website. So you're not even a consideration on that at that time, right? So you've got to be on there. You've got to be able to. But then when you fulfill the order, try to get them to come back into your ecosystem. Give them a text to join number. Give them an incentive to join, to order directly from you again in the future.
That's right. And if I could piggyback that with the for the gentleman that answered the question or asked the question, so just hang in there, because every customer is important. Every single person that walks through that door and capturing their data is important. I moved. You heard my bio from Brian. I had carry out and delivery only up until 2008, and then decided, brilliantly, to move to 3 times the space the month that Lehman Brothers crashed. So needless to say, we weren't very busy for dine-in for quite a few months. So, but what you do is, like Sean talked about before, with day-to-day, your day-to-day operations, every day is important right now for you. Capture what you can, love on the customers that you can, and you'll see it grow.
All right, guys, I got a question from Amy Darienzo, and I'm wondering, are you the same Darienzo of the one who won in St. Louis pizza battle a couple years ago? But she wants to know, do you have VoIP phone systems to handle the texts, or just a regular mobile phone? And then she also wants to know, where do I sign and how fast can you get to St. Louis? Seriously interested and appreciate what you guys are doing on touching on these top 5 issues. So is there a VoIP phone system to handle the text, or just a regular mobile phone?
Well, I think she's asking, like, how do we do the texting program? And we, I've got a platform that I work from. So basically I work with Sean, for instance, and we put together the campaign. takes them about 15 or 20 minutes to fill out this online form to give us all the offers. And then we put it through our platform, and it ends up going out automatically. And then we report and measure that way. So truthfully, it's a complete done for you system. You set it and forget it, and then just take care of the customers when we send them in there. It takes about 20 minutes a month to put the offers together and walk through kind of the program. And yes, we can go to St. Louis. If you go to pizzeriaprofit.com, there's a lot of information there right now, and some really awesome promotions to be able to get you started right away on a text program, an email program, and we're happy to do that.
All right, well, that sounds good. I do have another question here quickly from CJ Fletcher, and this might be maybe kind of geared towards Sean Rowe a little bit, and then obviously Brauser afterwards. But CJ Fletcher wants to know your honest opinion on a mobile oven outside your business for off-premises dining, because that sounds like it might be two different ventures. I mean, well, it's two different ovens you have to man, but he wants to know your honest opinion. I would assume is it just easier to do off-premises dining from your own kitchen, or should you dedicate an oven to that?
That's a great question, CJ. I'm a big fan of recurring revenue, and what recurring revenue is to me is, bricks and mortar. Sorry, that was my phone ringing. bricks and mortar, and recurring revenue from your customers that you establish, and not maybe chasing outside business so much. That's just always sort of been I've got friends of mine that are in the pizza business that do a lot of outside mobile ordering, catering, etc. It's just it's not been my thing. That's what I like about working with Sean. It's just building that thing that you can count on every day,
Yeah.
All right. Well, just have something that's very recurring, I guess, is the main thing. You don't want to lose something. You don't want to start something that's going to disappear. So I want to get back to a couple of these the questions that were submitted before the thing before our event started today. Somebody wants to know, let's talk about web notifications, such as push to notify SMS integration. That's a lot of words on the technical side that I don't personally understand. So Sean Brauser, I think you might be the guy to answer this one.
I'm gonna have to read that question because that's a complicated one.
Well, you can answer that.
How are they going to go out there as far as push notifications?
So I don't believe, all right, so I'm going to be a little controversial. I don't believe in push notifications from your app. And if you have an app, because I don't have any of my apps push notify me because it gets annoying, right? So it's good to have an app and an online ordering app. And I know Revention has a great one. I'm helping one of my clients do that right now. But I think from SMS notifications, it's just so easy to send a group text to your segmented contact list and send it to them when it's time to eat. So we like to send a text around 4:15. We like to send emails around 3:45 because that's when people the 9-to-5ers are winding down work and they're just looking for something to do, and they'll actually read their email. But reminding people on the text program, and Sean's even told me not to text on Fridays because it would be too busy. So we push that to a Saturday, right? And that's the power of what texting can do for you, and using this platform is you can decide what message you want to be sent to who at what time to get the maximum return on it.
Okay. And I guess it makes sense that, as the customer or the client, you can decide what times are just too busy for you. You can turn it on and off more or less with a switch. So
right. I actually have a funny story, Brian. I have a client who turned me off for a month. Like he doesn't want any messaging for a month because it was too successful. And I'm like, I don't think that's how it's supposed to work, but.
And then eventually, as Sean keeps gathering data, you can continue to drill down to anybody that's only ordered one time from us, or anybody that's ordered 50 times from us. They're getting this message on a Friday afternoon. Yep. The power of that's incredible.
Yep.
Well, yeah, and it does that targeting for, the just the one and dones. Those are the people you want to get back as that loyal customer, because one loyal customer is my old director of operations. It's like about $10,000 a year. The one loyal customer. So this question is for Sean Rowe, is pre-submitted as well. How are you managing your delivery, and do you use third-party services? Another hot button topic here, but how do you manage that, Sean?
That's a great question. It's all in-house for the most part. We'll run a dozen drivers or so on a Friday, and we do it through the delivery module on Revention with the queue. It's got the all built-in Google mapping and everything, and we have actually a delivery coordinator. Their only job is to notify the kitchen when to put in tickets and how to route to the various drivers, and the drivers come in and out all night long. And that's Saturday as well. Obviously, that's every day of the week. Now, we do utilize what's called DoorDash Drive, which is a new add-on that Revention has brought in. And rather than them place the order with DoorDash, they place the order with St. Angelos, and then we have the option to treat DoorDash as an extra driver, which is coming very convenient during our daytime, Tuesday through Friday business, where a driver's getting a little overwhelmed because all of a sudden he's one single driver, he or she, and they've got 5 or 6 in the queue. Now what? Because you're not going to satisfy 6 deliveries with 45-minute delivery times. So you click the button and assign it to DoorDash Drive, and they come pick up in 10 or 15 minutes, and you've got a satisfied customer. So that has been a huge, huge help for us.
Well, that's good. I mean, this is something I'm actually going to try to have a PMQ live update on, is how to get that 15% of that 30% back from these third parties. But there's kind of a follow-up on this, Mr. Bob Radiv. He lost audio earlier, but he came back, and he has a question. He wants to know, does Revention integrate through online delivery platforms?
They
so
do
I don't
now.
know if you can speak to this. They do?
I think they just didn't. I believe they just now have the ability to integrate with all of the major players in the space.
And I'm sure Emily's going to chime in up here, and I'll let you know again, Bob. But so you think that you've seen that, Sean?
I've definitely seen that, and for us, it's something for me to consider. Maybe as we get back to this new normal, that we do something like a Tuesday through Thursday. We'll have maybe a couple of in-house drivers and assign the rest of the deliveries to third party, as long as they come through us first. That's our big thing. It's our customer. We want to be able to assign ourselves.
Okay. Yeah. And Emily does say that, yes, we integrate. 3-word message that tells you everything you need to know, Bob. So
there you go.
Well, thanks. Yeah, no, thank you for speaking on that, Mr. Rowe. Mr. Brauser, the next question is for you. How much time does it take for your clients to see increased sales? That's a gotcha question.
Yeah,
you got an answer though.
Yeah, it's immediate. I've got a client we just onboarded. They're in Chattanooga, Tennessee. They have a small database. We're probably at about 200 people. They had no other previous email database to work from. So we've got about 200 people in this database. Last Friday, they had 15 orders on email, 20 orders through text. So they had 35 orders that came through the 20. So that's the real lesson, is the return on investment is based on the number of people that you get in your club, right? And I see for text, I'm seeing a 10% return. For email, it's about a 6% order rate on openers. So we work really hard on getting more people to open. The more people you have in the group, the more people can open, the more orders you get. So we really work hard on driving, and that's next level too, is driving more people into the VIP club so that you can have more to communicate to.
Okay. Well, we're gonna Bob Radiv wants to know, how can he contact Mr. Brauser? That's gonna be your new name, Mr. Brauser.
Mr. Brauser. You can email me at sean@cuttingedgemarketinggroup.com. Go to the website, pizzeriaprofit.com. You can book a time on that website with me. Whatever your availability is, you'll see my calendar and be able to link up with me. But I'm excited to talk to them.
All right, I just got a couple more questions. We're running down on time here. So there's one. Sean, you used to have a chain of pizzerias. Now you're into the marketing end of it. What did you learn about those businesses, and how did it translate? I mean, what was the one thing that you kind of took from the businesses that you're putting into helping other businesses right now?
I think I was telling Sean earlier, I've had massive success in the pizza business. I've had massive failures in the pizza business, and I've learned from both of those. And I think the biggest thing, Sean was alluding to it earlier, was, just you got to keep going. And you're going to have good days, you're going to have bad days. And as long as you got breath in your lungs and you can get up and go fight, and I think that's what I'm so drawn to helping pizzeria owners, because entrepreneurs are a different breed of people. We are driven every single day with nobody pushing us but ourselves. And and it's a hard grind. I mean, we talked about working 2 money hours in the store. You've got to take time off. You've got to build your store. I always worked on how can I make the store work without me? I want to be just a cog in that wheel and have the systems and processes in place that allow me to exclude myself from the operation and it still runs without me. That is the true definition of a great operation. If it doesn't depend on you. So as a pizzeria owner, the more things you can do to create a system, create a process, have your recipe books, measure your food, your cheese, measure all your ingredients, do inventory, and setting up systems and processes that don't rely on you to do those things, but you to manage those things. That's the key to longevity in the pizza business, because otherwise you're 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years in, you're going to run yourself right into a dead wall and collapse, and it'll end up hurting your business more than it helps your business. So that's.
Oh, I'm sorry, Sean. Go ahead. I was just going to say that's basically that's everybody's goal is to start working on their business instead of in it. Have those metrics set up, figure out the numbers so that you can just be the man behind the curtain. The grand old Wizard of Oz.
Exactly.
And I love making pizza. I love pizza. I love the pizza business like there's no tomorrow, but I don't want to do it 50 hours a week. I want to build a business that allows me to choose when I can do that. And I think a lot of times, again, it's because they're thinking one day ahead rather than a month ahead or a year ahead. Where do I vision this business to be? And why did you get into the business? And once you discover your why and focus on that, makes now you have a purpose to make these systems and processes so that you can achieve your why.
Yep. Well, and I got one more question. I did get a couple others, but if your questions were not answered here, we have them, and we can reach out to you after the fact through email to answer your questions. But I didn't want to leave anybody out who did their questions did not get answered. But one of the last ones somebody had was, how do you address the packaging need to keep pizza in a quality state as far as like for pickup stations and guests? And I assume it's going from dine-in to curbside. I would think it would be kind of the same. Are there any extra steps you're taking, Sean Rowe, as far as like keeping the quality of your pie the same as it gets to their house from your place to their house?
So heat lamps inside the restaurant for all carry out and delivery, both the delivery station, the carry out station, big long stretches of counter that have nothing but heat all the way across. And then insulated bags for delivery, obviously. So those are two of the main ingredients to making sure. But when someone gets the curbside food, those boxes are hot.
Yeah, well, and it's the same thing. Everybody can't be expected. That's why a lot of Neapolitan places don't deliver. It doesn't, it's not that type of food. So, that was a good, quick, succinct answer. I do appreciate that. So I'm going to get to Dennis McQuinn's question, last question of the day. I promise. He was the first person to chime in. I wanted to make sure he got acknowledged. He wanted to know, what is the cost of adding honeycomb to his current revention setup? And I don't know exactly what that means. Would that be something that you could speak on, Sean Brauser, or maybe Emily? You can.
That's an Emily question.
Oh, she'll address that. All right. So I'll tell you what, Dennis, she'll get in touch with you real quick. She'll let you know all of that stuff. So at this point, I just wanted to thank everybody for tuning in. We had a great attendance, great questions from a bunch of great people, hungry and thirsty for knowledge about how to, drive sales in this post-pandemic era. So, Mr. Brauser, Mr. Rowe, I do appreciate your time. Is there anything you want to just one positive affirmation from you, Mr. Brauser, and then you, Mr. Rowe? One awesome. Positive note. Go ahead.
I would just say if you're interested in having me help you, I would love to do that. Visit my site, pizzeriaprofit.com. We'll set up a quick call, talk about your situation. I do a lot of consulting at the same time when I'm working with my clients, because it's not just marketing, but it's a holistic approach to what you're doing and finding out how your brand operates. So if you're interested in that, I would love to talk to you. We've got some great relaunch programs right now where we're doing free website development for people if they want a new website. We've got a free text program and a free email program if you want to get started on that, for just to kind of help the industry. Like, we're really, and I'm working with the World Pizza Champions. I'm a founding member of them, and we're trying to put together some relief funding, relief initiatives for the pizza business, to actually to make sure that the mom and pops that were struggling before don't struggle again. So, we're here to help you guys, and we can launch a VIP program very quickly. It's an easy decision, and it's just, I'm happy to help you do that.
All right, Mr. Rowe.
That's awesome. What I would say is, regardless of how many years you've been in this business, I've been doing this for 15 plus years, and find a coach. No matter how good, by all metrics, St. Angelos, we're very successful in the pizza business by any measure. But you know what? I went out and looked for a coach again because I felt like I needed it. And whether you're just starting out or you've been around forever, just having somebody to kick some ideas off of, to learn from, somebody that's got the experience to look up to, it's worth it. And again, if you're not growing, you're dying.
All right, guys. Well, I definitely appreciate your time. Emily and Jamie from Revention, thank you also for your collaboration on this. I think this is a lot of great information that the industry needs to hear right now. And I'm glad that there are, people that they can reach out to help them just kind of come out of this funk. I mean, that's the only way I can say it. It's a funk, where we've all been kind of stuck in our homes, and hopefully you've been lucky enough to be able to stay open and keep your head above water. So I do want to thank you guys on behalf of the PMQ webinar series, PMQ Pizza Magazine, US Pizza Team, Sean Brauser, Cutting Edge Marketing Group, and Sean Rowe, St. Angelos Pizzeria, and Revention. So we'll see you guys next time. But until then, you guys got to stay safe and stay sane.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brian. Great job, buddy.
Thank you, guys. Everybody stay safe.